And I think this disruption in the economy, with the digital economy, with influencer culture, all this stuff, it's leading to something that's even deeper than just the formation of a new economy, which you just talked about. Like, the economy is developing, and this new thing called the digital creator economy is exploding, and so many people, particularly young people, are hopping into it and working as salespeople, as entrepreneurs, as operations people, whatever, inside of these businesses. And I think this does point to an economic disruption. But what I also think is happening is that it's going deeper than this. And what I think it's hitting at, and I had this revelation a couple months ago, and I've been thinking a lot about it since, and I really have come to believe that this is true. I think the traditional career is dead. I think the traditional career is over. There is no one that is coming up of age now, that is going to have a career like their parents at all. Zero. There is never going to be I work for the same company for 40 years. I'm there the entire time. I collect a 401k or a pension afterwards, and I'm gone. That is never happening ever again. It can't. The traditional career cannot survive in this economy. It's too competitive, it's too ruthless, and it's too shifting. You just can't do it. I don't see a way possible where you could stay in the same place for a very long time. You need to adapt. You need to move. You need to be quick. You need to learn more. You need to stay sharp, on top of your skills. All of that stuff is so important. It's so important. And that's why I think so many people are having trouble comprehending what this whole digital economy space is, because it's just so much faster. It's so much more competitive. It's so much this, that, and the other compared to everything else. And it's really something to watch. And so what we were taught in Gen Z, this was my upbringing, by my parents, by my grandparents, and by the way, they're not malicious people. They didn't know any better. But what we were told, what every one of my friends was told, what everyone that I was raised around was told, we were told, and we were made to believe that we would go to college, most of whom taking out loans. I thankfully didn't have to take out loans. I paid my way through college partly. My parents helped, so I'm grateful for that. Get a job, and then we'd be taken care of. We'd be set. That magical piece of paper would guarantee that we would always be marketable. My dad said this all the time to me. And I think this is true to some degree. I don't think my dad was totally right about this either. And so I went to Ohio State University. And so hopefully they'll have a win against Texas on the books after this episode airs, but here we go. So my dad would tell me all the time that he's like, Sam, you got the brand of Ohio State. That means something to people. And it does. Like, Ohio State is a really great alumni base. We're in business, across the world. And yes, Jeffrey Epstein got, famous because he managed the guy who's plaster in the building, Lex Wexner, but that's neither here nor there. And so anyway, but he's like, oh, the brand is going to be a big thing. The brand is going to be this. Like, Ohio State, that's going to mean something. It means nothing, actually. It means absolutely nothing. I know so many people that went to crap colleges by comparison, that didn't have the experience that I did, that are whooping my ass in business. The degree means nothing. The magic of that piece of paper, that diploma, it means nothing. And really, working for corporations means nothing anymore. I worked for Citibank. Like, I like to laugh at these people that I see on LinkedIn, that you see in these headlines that people have been fired or laid off. They're like, ex-Google, ex-Amazon, ex-Oracle, ex-whatever. Like, what does that mean? I'm ex-Oracle. I don't say that I left my company. That was a company I worked for. I don't say that I'm like ex-Oracle. I say that I worked for a really big tech company. They treated me mostly very well. But it's like that. It doesn't mean anything to anyone. Okay, you work for Google. So what? Get to work. Do something. You went to Harvard. So what? Who gives a crap? No one does. That's the point. No one does. And so this narrative of this go to a good college, get a good job, write out your career, coast into upper management, whatever. It's completely and totally false. It's just not true. It's just not true. And Gen Z is known, since we've come into the labor, all Gen Z has known that since we've come into the labor force are very bad things: turmoil, stagnation, job cuts. Like my sales coach currently is the best salesman I've ever met in my entire life. He's younger than me, actually. Best salesman I've ever met. He's transformed my sales skills in an immense way. So Tristan, if you're watching the, shout out to you, dude. But like, he couldn't get a job to save his life, apparently, he's told me, after college. And he went to a not small university, I think. I haven't done research on a college or anything, but like, he's the smartest salesperson I've ever met, and he couldn't get a job coming out of school. Like, come on, man. And so all the jobs that we've gone for, the ones that our parents told us to like, don't end up like that. Like, don't work be working at McDonald's or work in construction, or you'll be a plumber, or you'll be an electrician. It's like the self-own of all of that is that all those jobs are the ones that are not threatened in this current job market. It's very safe to be a foreman on a construction crew right now. It's very safe to be a plumber. My brother is a welder right now. He's never going to struggle finding work. He was out of a job for like 2 weeks, I think, or a month earlier this year. He was between companies, and he found a job like in 2 seconds. I think he did like 2 interviews, and he got a job because my brother and people like him, the welders, the people that keep the bridges up. This is with the Douglas Murray thing. Like the bridges have to stay up, and that's true. Like the people that are laying cement, the people that are manning construction crews, the people that are fixing our toilets and our electrical grid, and putting roofs in our houses. They are actually the safe jobs today. And that is every single job that all of the parents that I grew up around told us to not go into. Go into marketing. Go into HR. Go into business. It's like, how stupid was that advice? That was stupid advice, looking back on that. And I don't want to, get too wild and say people are stupid, but it's like, come on, really? And so because all of the jobs that our parents and the older generations pushed us to, work in marketing, work in data analysts, work in coding, they're all being replaced, by the way, by 2 things: labor and AI. Outsourced labor and AI. Graphic design. Okay, fine. I can find somebody on Fiverr in India that can do all my thumbnails for I'll give you an example. So my graphic designer who works my thumbnails right now, her and I have a great relationship. We've worked together for about a year now. She does all my thumbnails for all my YouTube videos that you guys see for $100 a month. And she makes good money doing it. Like in Brazil, that's a lot of money. Gabriella, shout out to you if you're watching this. But like, why pay a graphic designer to do that? And I have opinions that with the immigration stuff and outsourced labor, I think we should do something about that. But in terms of the way the market is now, like all those jobs, like marketing is not a thing anymore. Data analysis is not a thing anymore. Coding is not a thing anymore. One of my friends, he's a remarkably gifted engineer over at Amazon. Amazon has a pretty big presence here. He works in the Whole Foods division. And he's told us he's in my small group at my church, and he's told us several times over and over again, this guy's a wicked smart guy, so much smarter than me, that they're not hiring coders at Amazon anymore. Why? Because AI can code for you. AI can write code way faster than a human can. And so he's like, I'm trying to pivot out of software. I don't want to go into software anymore because AI is going to write the software now. And I was like, whoa, that's a big deal. You know how many people that I knew wanted to go into like computer science and engineering in college? Those guys are screwed, man. They're screwed. They're absolutely screwed. This is the second coming of what NAFTA was in the 90s with the trade agreements, with the outsourcing of blue-collar labor. And it's so funny because we so demean those people and we so spit on those people that are doing those jobs, that are keeping basically the fabric of this country up. And we made them feel like garbage for the longest time. And now the whole own about all of this for the rest of us, and I tried not to do this. I don't think I did this at all, to be honest, but a lot of people did, is that they're saying like, they're coming for you next, buddy. They're coming for you next. And they are. This is going to be a buzzsaw is going to hit the white-collar economy in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be a bloodbath inside of this economy. I guarantee you. And so what this means in terms of the career, I want to bring this back to the career conversation for a second. So this means that the days of you working for the same company for your entire career are completely and utterly over. It's done. It's absolutely done. There is nothing you can convince me about that anymore. It is just done. The career traditionalism about I'm going to just work for the same company for, again, 40 years, and I'm going to work my way up and everything. It's a death sentence. Robert Herjavec of Shark Tank said this the other day. It's a death sentence to do that. And it's naive to think that. And if you're telling people that, then shame on you because you're setting them up for failure. And so what we're waking up to, especially as younger people, and especially people younger than me, about 10 years younger than me. So I turned 28 in about a month and a half. And so I'm thinking about, like, I graduated high school 10 years ago, and I'm thinking about people that are coming up 10 years behind me who are in high school right now. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, man, like those kids are going to be in a completely different world than I was. And it's only been 10 years. And so what we're waking up to is that the corporate world doesn't care about us at all. They do not care about career development like all of them say that they do. They don't care about it at all. And I'm sure some people inside, my dad gets so mad at me when he watches these videos because he's like, Sam, you're really slamming the corporate world. I'm slamming the corporate structure. I'm not slamming the people inside the corporate world. There are a lot of great people that work in corporate jobs. My dad certainly included in that. But it's just they're cooked. It's over. It's over. And we were lied to it by everybody by thinking that would. All the companies lied. All the higher education institutions lied. All of the career fairs lied. Everybody lied about this. And the digital economy is proof of this. There's far more opportunity out there than this narrow box of like, I'm going to just plug and chug and work my life away for a company that doesn't care about me and they can, do all these things, whatever, and can control what I say and what I think and everything. Like a lot of people are just saying, screw that, man. Screw that. And they should say screw that because it's stupid. It's dumb. It's not an intelligent decision to make for yourself. It's just not. And so what is the alternative? What's the defining career path? And so I think I heard this about maybe like a year and a half ago. This is when I was really starting to find out about a guy who I revere now, who I think is very a wonderful, wonderful person. A guy named Arthur Brooks. Talked about him a couple times here. He's the world's leading happiness expert. Ironically, he worked for the American Enterprise Institute, which propped up a lot of these corporations. Now he works for Harvard Business School. Go figure, are two of the things that I don't like the most. But anyway, I love Arthur. He's great. And so Arthur talks a lot about, he just had a great book called The Happiness Files that came out. I just read it. It's very good if you're looking to become a happier person. I'm a naturally very unhappy person, as Arthur is. So if you're a happy person or if you're a naturally unhappy person, it's a great book for you to read. So I'd recommend reading it. And Arthur talks a lot about career, especially because he now works with some of the most ambitious business students in the entire world, really, at Harvard Business School. He works in the MBA curriculum. He talks to a lot of them about not business stuff, but life stuff. And so what Arthur has really pioneered is this concept that he calls the spiral career. So what this means is that how Arthur packages this is that you will more than likely have several different careers packaged into one career if you're doing it right. You will not be in sales, for example, for 40 years anymore. You will be a salesman that will turn into an entrepreneur, that will turn into a professor, that will turn into a board member or something. You will be a teacher that turns into a administrator, that turns into a think tank employee, that turns into a education careerist. And I think what this does is that it gives people the opportunity to say, okay, this job isn't serving me, this career isn't serving me, I don't have to stay here. Because your interests change, right? Like the world changes. It's changing right now. And so what Arthur recommends is that go really hard into something, but when you feel the need to pivot, then pivot. Like Arthur ran maybe the most successful think tank in Washington, D.C., the American Enterprise Institute. I remember hearing about that think tank all the time, and I wasn't even that into politics when I heard about it. He ran that think tank for 10 years. And he's like, you know what? This isn't making me happy anymore. It's not serving me. I don't really enjoy it anymore. So he left and joined the Harvard Business School curriculum, and now he's the world leading expert on happiness. It's like, how does that happen? Because Arthur made it happen. That's how it happened. It's exactly how it happened. And so you need to be able to adapt, to pivot, to survive, particularly in a world that is defined by AI and everything that comes with AI, because it's going to be, if you think we're in a crazy world now, imagine when this white collar, recession really hits and all these jobs get taken out from under everybody. Like, it's going to get real, man. It's going to get real. And I think that we just need to prepare for it. And I'm not like a doomer in terms of like AI or anything like that, but like there is something that is, there's something that's happening here. And I think it would be a mistake for all of us not to acknowledge it. And I think that to acknowledge it is to actually be practical and be prudent about really where this thing is going, because, the career as it was defined is not the career anymore. It's just not. And I think we need to just, be prepared for that and help people really kind of come to terms with that.